Modern roads are filled with silent, automated machines, but driving purists still crave an aggressive, unfiltered mechanical connection. The BMW M2 Competition rejects that quiet sanitization. It is a muscular, purposeful tool built strictly for aggressive control, rather than isolated luxury. When you have a budget of around $60,000, you face a definitive choice: the front-engine brute force of the M2 or the mid-engine precision of the Porsche 718 Cayman. This chart maps the market beyond lap times, plotting clinical precision against raw emotion and a weekend toy against daily usability. The Cayman sits in the top left quadrant for accessible precision. The M2 lands top right, favoring high emotion while remaining usable. This suggests that the M2 is built for a specific type of engagement, one that prioritizes physical sensation and driver involvement over the pursuit of absolute lap time perfection. BMW achieved that specific emotional profile through a significant mechanical transplant. They took the 3.0-liter Twin-Turbo S55 engine directly from the larger M3 and M4 and fitted it into the compact M2 chassis. This powertrain engagement scorecard shows exactly how that engine swap dictates the character of the drive. Detuned slightly to 404 brake horsepower, the twin-turbo setup delivers explosive, immediate low-end torque that pulls aggressively all the way to revline. You can pair that engine with a 6-speed manual transmission. On twisty roads, this allows you to deliberately lug the turbochargers from lower revs to provoke the chassis on corner exits. Then there is the exhaust note. It breathes with mechanical honesty, cracking and whistling from the turbos whenever you apply heavy throttle. The trade-off for this physical setup is efficiency. You will see marginally slower 0 to 60 sprint times than a dual-clutch automatic, and the constant driver input leads to more fatigue in commuter traffic than a linear, naturally aspirated engine. This powertrain requires constant focus. It creates a rough, demanding drive that results in a deeply authentic mechanical connection. To verify how these mechanical changes translate to the road, test drivers utilize the twisting tarmac of the Ascari circuit in Malaga, Spain. The penalty for those robust cooling elements and the heavy bracing is a noticeable increase in physical weight, particularly resting over the front axle. Despite that added rigidity, the engineers chose to retain refined passive dampers rather than installing ultra-stiff adaptive suspensions or specialized carbon ceramic brakes. By avoiding overly complex track components, the vehicle maintains enough pliancy in its ride quality to handle a standard city commute while still surviving high-speed thermal endurance. This entire package is a direct reflection of BMW's corporate philosophy, maximizing the potential of a front-engine, rear-wheel drive layout. That approach stands in contrast to Porsche's architectural philosophy, which prioritizes clinical, mass-centered engineering. This comparison matrix places those two ideologies head-to-head to see how they behave when pushed. Starting with architecture, the M2's front-engine layout creates a distinct pendulum effect when cornering. The Cayman keeps its mass centered, placing the pivot point directly around the driver. That architecture dictates the oversteer. In its MDM mode, the M2 allows for highly playful, accessible, tail-happy sliding. The Cayman remains clinically locked down, prioritizing grip over slip. Finally, looking at steering feedback. While the M2's bracing makes its turn-in precise, it does exhibit a tendency toward high-speed understeer before you apply throttle to balance it. The mid-engine Porsche simply remains surgically agile throughout the bend. If your goal is setting clinical, surgical lap times, the Cayman remains the superior tool. But the M2 is built to be purposefully unruly and demanding. Your choice comes down to your primary driving priority. For clinical lap times, mid-engine balance, and surgical handling, the Porsche 718 Cayman is the correct choice. But for a torque-heavy engine and rowdy weekend capability without losing daily utility, the M2 is your route. The M2 Competition delivers aggressive, analog feedback through its steering and drivetrain while retaining the practical dimensions and comfort of a standard commuter coupe. When cars think and drive for you, the best machines remind us driving was never meant to be easy. It was meant to be felt. By prioritizing these specific mechanical interactions over clinical efficiency, the M2 Competition establishes itself as a unique outlier in the mid-range sports car market.